It's now crime time here on Court TV. We take a look at stories from around the nation and get some insight and perspective from our own experts who we bring in. Joining us tonight on the program, Assistant Chief Jailer and former Chief of the Major Crime Section, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee. Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee served as a police officer for 30 years. He oversaw homicide cases, robberies, special victims units, and a gun assault team. He's also a former Assistant Police Academy Director. Also with us, retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Sergeant Dorsey started with the LAPD in 1980. She worked in patrol specialized units, including gangs, and she's also the author of Black and Blue, The Creation of a Social Advocate. Sergeant, Lieutenant Colonel, great to have you both here tonight. And this first video comes from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office down in Brevard County, Florida. And there's about 20 million views on this thing already, and it just happened. The sheriff here calling out a nuisance house.
Hello everyone, I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and this afternoon I'm standing in front of a house at 4295 Delaspine Road in Port St. John that has become a complete nuisance to its neighborhood and our agency. Our agency has now responded to almost 100 calls for service at this address in the past 12 months. Now, the calls to this house have been for drugs, drug overdose where Narcan had to be deployed, fights, stolen vehicles, needles thrown over the fence in the neighbor's yard, disturbances, and so on. In fact, 31 disturbances that we have had to respond to. In addition, our team has made multiple arrests at this address, as well as arrests of various subjects that were leaving the residence and so forth. In fact, just yesterday, we arrested two scumbags who had just left this house who were both violent felons, one of which had actually broken into a house through a doggy door where a 10-year-old was sitting in the house playing. The people at this house are dealing in drugs, using drugs, abusing drugs, and stealing other people's stuff to finance their crimes, and it needs to stop. Enough is enough. You and your house have now officially made my hit list, high-intensity target. That's right. You inside the house, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, are constantly begging to go to jail. So congratulations. You are now on the sheriff's hit list. And as such, if you can't obey the law, you will very soon find yourself living at a different address, the Brevard County Jail. Now, folks, this is Commander Woolsey. He is our North Precinct Commander, and he's going to be our point person on this project. And that's exactly what this is, a pet project that is targeting those that commit crimes at this address. I can assure you that Commander Woolsey and his team would like nothing better than to put bad people in jail that are at this residence causing problems for their neighbors. So starting right now, the house you see behind me at 4295 Delaspine Road in Port St. John, Florida, is on his hit list as well, as we are sick and tired of you causing your neighbors to live in constant fear for themselves and their children. Yesterday, we talked to you about a house over in Port St. John that was a nuisance house. Today, I'm going to walk one of them into our jail. They had plenty of warning. This individual not only didn't listen to the warning, but immediately after we left, went and broke into somebody's house. So we're gonna, I told you yesterday, I'm gonna give them a new address, a new place to live so they can't aggravate the neighbors. This is what we're doing right now. If you're gonna break the law in Brevard County, you better find someplace else to do it.
All right, so what do you think of Sheriff Ivey, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee? What do you think of the sheriff down in Brevard County?
Vinny, I like this guy. I mean, if you're running against him in the next sheriff election, or you planning on running, you might as well just drop out of the race. He just won the election with that video right there. You know, I did a little reading about him, and this guy has a long track record of supporting victims' rights. He's a victim's advocate, so there's no pretense to what you see in that video. He genuinely cares about the community he serves, and he's probably sick and tired of putting these guys in jail and they get right out. I think he probably needs more support from the judges who are serving in that area, because for him to have to resort to this video, that means it's a revolving door. 100 times in 12 months at this house, that's like 3 times a week they're showing up, the police are showing up there. So I don't know, that's ridiculous.
20 million views of this video, by the way, Sergeant. Your thoughts about Sheriff Ivey?
I think he's out of his mind. Listen, this guy is unprofessional. He's juvenile. And if he's made 31 arrests, what kind of reports are his officers writing over there that they can't write an arrest report that sticks, that would garner 31 arrests and no criminal penalty, no time behind bars? What the heck is really going on? And then he stands out here in this buffoonish manner and broadcasts these people's address. So now all we need is a vigilante who decides to deputize themselves, come over there and enact some kind of vengeance because the sheriff doesn't seem to know what he's doing and he can't make it stick. He doesn't have reasonable suspicion, probable cause to make an arrest after they've been there 100 times. What if someone else comes over there and decides that they want to be the police and do what the sheriff can't? All he needs now is a good attorney who can get him a mansion and a yacht somewhere in Florida. Stupid.
Lieutenant Colonel, what's fascinating here is I see this with a lot of sheriffs down in Florida are very accessible to the public and very much out there, because sheriffs apparently down there have a lot more jurisdictional power than they do in other parts of the country, and they're making arrests.
Right. Well, I'm familiar with particularly one jurisdiction right now who is so fed up with the judges in their area that they have decided to not have car chases, period, not to have pursuits no matter what the crime. They are not pursuing people. They have disbanded their narcotics unit, and it's not this particular agency, but I'm familiar with an agency that has done that, a major agency, much larger than this one, that has disbanded their narcotics unit because they're sick and tired of these individuals being out almost before they can get the report documented that they've completed upon arresting that individual. So I think it's a matter of this sheriff being frustrated with the revolving door that's probably going on in his court system in his area.